This is Dayton Horvath, Director of Emerging Technology at AMT, and I've got with me Jason Jones, the CEO and co-founder of Hybrid Manufacturing Technologies. Thanks for joining and for being one of our invited speakers at MFG, AMT's annual member meeting. Jason, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into your talk?
Thanks, Dayton. Pleased to be here with you. So I studied, first I started off as a machinist, and then I progressed my way through a number of studies to become an engineer, and eventually I did a PhD, and my focus has been on how do we merge 3D printing and CNC machining together? And how do we then merge the wider ecosystem of manufacturing around that so we get to real results in a mainstream manufacturing environment? So I'm really pleased to be able to come and talk with the MFG attendees.
Wonderful. And you'll be giving a talk on peeling back the layers of additive and advanced manufacturing adoption. Give us a quick broad overview of what we might expect on.
So a lot of people, I think, that know about additive or advanced manufacturing think one day I'm probably going to get to where additive will influence my career. And I agree with you. I'm absolutely an advocate of that. I'm also here to say I don't see CNC machining going away anytime soon, or injection molding, or casting, or forging, right? This is another tool that's very complementary and in many ways further leverages technology that already exists. So this dialogue is really a discussion that says, hey, this is coming. It is going to be implemented in a widespread way over the next decade or two, and helps people kind of assess where it fits, when they should adopt, what advantages they should seek. In a lot of ways, the basics still don't change. You're still looking at time, cost, quality. These are metrics that all of us have. And no matter what tools you use, you're still going to have to gravitate back to the basics to say, will this deliver value to my business?
And so from the salesman's perspective, the better, faster, cheaper, tell me which ones you're bringing me. You still need to map this to the new processes, don't you?
You do. One of the greatest things about additive, and also the most intimidating and sometimes frustrating, is that the promises of additive manufacturing are actually spread across quite a few different types of techniques or technology families. And so there's 7 that are standardized, plus some that are a little bit outside of that, but sort of contribute. And then so as soon as you say, okay, I'm ready to adopt, you have this decision between 7 different doors. You're like, what's behind door number 5? And so this discussion will hopefully help elucidate some of why you would choose which of those 7 doors. But that's a difficult step in adoption because you're immediately forced to kind of choose which of these 7 technologies. And without then assessing time, cost, quality, or something similar for each of them, you probably don't know what you're getting yourself into fully.
So to keep this on the short side and to keep the interest high, what's one question that you think our attendees should think about before we get to your talk? You mentioned AR, you had talked about preparing for the future. Tell us how we should be thinking.
So one question I would bring if I were you is, do I have design authority over what I make? And in what areas do I have design authority? Often a machine shop may be told, it's quite prescriptive. You're going to make these shapes to this tolerance, and that's the end of story, right? That's all you get. Do you have design authority over that part? Probably not. Do you have design authority over the fixturing you might use? You probably do. And depending on where you have design authority and how wide that is, will influence your choice on how you adopt additive. Additive manufacturing, in addition to simply being a production method, is also a very flexible, elegant development tool. And so you got to play both sides of that equation, and the more flexibility you have as a design authority, if you will influence if you can actually double purpose this tool for multiple things, or if it's going to be restricted primarily to production or primarily as a development tool. So come wondering, thinking through, where do I have design authority and what materials do I really need my parts to end up in?
That's a great way to leave it. Jason, thank you for the preview, and we look forward to seeing you in Florida in late April.
Thanks, Dayton. Take care.